What if fighting for justice made you a target? Marc Angelucci was a 52-year-old attorney from California, USA, best known for his work in men's rights activism. As vice president of the National Coalition for Men, NCFM, he fought legal battles around issues like family law, military draft, and false accusations. Charismatic and outspoken, Marc had earned respect even among those who disagreed with him. But his advocacy also drew criticism and enemies. By 2020, he was at the peak of his legal career, winning major cases. No one could imagine that his passion for justice would lead to his murder. On July 11, 2020, Marc was at his home in San Bernardino County. Around 4 p.m., a man posing as a delivery driver knocked on his door. When Marc answered, he was shot multiple times and died instantly. Neighbors heard gunshots and rushed to call the police, but it was too late. The attack was quick, brutal, and clearly planned. Investigators immediately suspected it was a targeted killing, not a random crime. The shocking murder stunned his friends, colleagues, and the men's rights community worldwide. Just days after Marc's death, a gunman attacked the home of federal Judge Esther Salas in New Jersey, killing her son and wounding her husband. Investigators discovered both attacks were linked to the same man, Roy Den Hollander, a lawyer turned extremist. Hollander had once been part of the men's rights movement, but grew increasingly bitter and violent. He was found dead by suicide after the judge's attack. The revelation tied Marc's murder to a larger story of ideological hatred and revenge. Authorities believe Hollander killed Marc out of jealousy and resentment. Marc had gained respect in the men's rights movement and won cases that Hollander had long pursued unsuccessfully. Consumed by anger, Hollander viewed Marc as a rival. He carefully planned the murder, disguising himself as a delivery worker to catch Marc off guard. The shocking detail is that Marc had no idea he was on Hollander's hit list. His death revealed how personal grudges and extremist ideology can turn deadly, even among people once on the same cause. The murder of Marc Angelucci robbed the legal world of a passionate, fearless attorney. His friends remember him as a man who fought tirelessly for fairness, even when his positions were controversial. The case also exposed the dangers of radicalization, showing how bitterness and hate can destroy lives. Today, Marc's name lives on in the movement he helped shape, but his death remains a painful reminder of the risks faced by outspoken advocates. Justice was found only in the death of his killer, but the wound left behind is still unhealed. What if a call for help became the last thing you heard? On May 18, 2023, Courtney Taylor Martin, a 34-year-old woman from Smith County, Texas, called her mother from a nearby intersection requesting a ride. She was less than 2 miles from home, and her mother arrived moments later, but Courtney was gone, leaving no trace behind. Known for her kindness and her openness, she was described as someone who stayed in regular contact with family. Authorities immediately suspected foul play, and her disappearance sparked a desperate search in the typically quiet neighborhood near County Road 42 and FM 724. How do you look for someone who seems to vanish into thin air? In the months that followed, investigators and volunteers searched woods, roads, and areas she was known to visit, including a nearby tent city. Despite tireless efforts, no confirmed sightings or clues emerged. Courtney, who struggled with mental illness and had stopped taking her psychiatric medication, was classified as endangered missing, raising alarm even further. Her family grew increasingly frustrated as the community rallied, but her whereabouts remained a painful mystery. Can a single found item reopen a case gone cold? On July 3, 2025, local youths discovered a backpack belonging to Courtney near a pond in New Harmony, Texas, an area previously untouched in the investigation. The bag's discovery reignited hope and concern. Responding to this lead, authorities summoned a Texas Department of Public Safety dive team. However, due to ongoing flooding emergencies elsewhere, the search was delayed. What hope remains when all you find are skeletal remains? Finally, on August 26, 2025, the dive team searched the pond and found human skeletal remains almost immediately. The remains were sent to the Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences in Dallas, where they were confirmed to be Courtney's through dental records and other forensic analysis. The news brought profound sorrow, but also a measure of closure for her family. How do you seek justice when the victim can speak no more? With Courtney's remains officially identified, the case is now being treated as a criminal investigation. Smith County Sheriff's Office has pledged an all-hands-on-deck approach. No I undotted, no T uncrossed, until those responsible are held accountable. Her mother, while devastated, has expressed relief at finally having confirmation, but continues to demand answers. The search for truth and justice for Courtney Taylor Martin remains very much alive. What begins as a peaceful morning run can end in tragedy in mere moments. On February 22, 2024, Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student at Augusta University, went for a routine jog at the University of Georgia. Just before 9 a.m., she texted her mother, "Good morning, about to go for a run," and called shortly afterward. Her Garmin smartwatch captured that her heart stopped at 9:28 a.m., marking the moment she was fatally attacked by blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. Her body was found in Oconee Forest Park, a serene campus woodland behind Lake Herrick. The shock was immediate. It was the first homicide on campus since 1983. Investigators described this as a crime of opportunity. The perpetrator seized the moment when Laken was alone and vulnerable. Within minutes, her phone call to 911 was made, though it couldn't be answered. Evidence quickly mounted. DNA was found under Laken's fingernails, her thumbprint on her phone, and surveillance footage showed a suspect discarding a blood-stained jacket and gloves near his apartment. Investigators later arrested Jose Antonio Ibarra, a 26-year-old Venezuelan undocumented immigrant who was living nearby. Can evidence speak louder than words? Ibarra was charged with a slew of crimes: murder, felony murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault with intent to rape, false imprisonment, and more. He waived his right to a jury trial. Instead, Judge H. Patrick Haggard presided over the bench trial. On November 20, 2024, Ibarra was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. The verdict relied heavily on DNA, security footage, phone logs, and the brutal injuries to Laken's skull. How can a single death reshape national policy? Laken's murder became a flashpoint in the immigration debate. The suspect's undocumented status and prior minor charges, including theft, reignited calls for reform. In response, Congress passed the Laken-Riley Act, mandating the detention of certain undocumented immigrants charged with theft or violent crimes. The bill was signed into law by President Donald Trump on January 29, 2025, marking it as the first law he enacted in his second term. What remains when justice has been served, but life is irreplaceable? Laken Riley's death shattered her community, but her legacy lives on. Her family and supporters established the Laken Hope Riley Foundation to honor her memory. Her iPhone, last used to call her mother and containing vital evidence, is due to be returned to her family as a poignant memento. The case continues to spark debate and reflection on campus safety, immigration policy, and the fragility of life. Though Laken is gone, her story continues to make the world pause.